What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Wednesday, October 16th, 2024, year of our Lord. What's going on, friends? What's happening? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? First, I want to give a shout out to Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Make sure you get that product. It's a phenomenal product. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. Get your Tiege Hanley. It is great. All right. Also on top of that, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I have a Patreon exclusive video that's dropping this week. I'm actually going to be in a lot of different places this week, so I can't say if I'm going to say where I'm going to be at yet. I might be in Atlanta this weekend. You never know. You never know. So shout out to my ATLians out here in the building. I might be in Atlanta this weekend. We'll see what's happening. So what up to my ATLians in the building? But make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. And then also on top of that, make sure you get your tickets to come and see me on November 2nd in Atlanta. And then December 14th in Detroit. And we going to make it shake from there. What up? What up, y'all? How y'all feeling? About to hit the commute. Peace and blessings to the chat and time. What's going on, Kenya from Cali? Yo, I want to see y'all in person. If y'all not coming to my show, if some of y'all, because the tickets is about to sell out. And if the majority of the people that's in the audience is not there for me, I'm going to be aggravated. I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. If the majority of the people in the audience is not there for me, then that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. Gershom Delva says the mic is not fully plugged in. Mic is buzzing like crazy? All right, so let me see what I can do with this one. Let's see if we can make an adjustment. Buzzing like crazy. What? Give me a second. Let me see. Let's see if we can fix the microphone. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. I got you. I got you. 1 minute. 1 minute. Why would the mic be buzzing? That didn't fix it. Before we get started, we got to make sure that all of our stuff, I don't know why the mic would be buzzing like that. We got a lot of upgrades that's coming. So. Give me a second, y'all. Let me update the mic and upgrade the microphones. We good now? All right, so let me get a mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2 because I got to make sure that my microphone is 100% what it needs to be before we get started with the show. Let me get a mic check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Sound is perfect. All right, so y'all let me know if we have any other technical difficulties, and this is why I appreciate the chat, because the chat is my co-host for the day, and they gonna let me know if everything is all right. All right, so again, shout out to y'all. I want to acknowledge some of the people that support the platform and the super chats. So first and foremost, shout out to my dog ESD. It's still buzzing? What? What is going on? All right, so we just gonna go ahead and do the regular mic today. Come back. I gotta figure out what that is. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that my microphone is still buzzing. So we just gonna go with the microphone from that today, and then we're just gonna keep it moving. All right. I might hook up the boom mic and see how that play out, but we'll see. We'll see what's happening. So we got a slight modification that we gotta rock with, but we just gonna go and roll with this. All right. The people said that it was buzzing. Some people hear it, some people don't. Maybe some of y'all is like left brain, right brain. I don't know what it is, but we gonna go ahead and figure it out. Shout out to my dog ESDC. I appreciate you. Demetrius Shaw. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Mike, that dude is in the building. What up to Mike, that dude? All right, and let me give a shout out to the super chat. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Lott. Said been busy. Had to catch up with the coverage. My mic was good. So was there buzz or was it not no buzz? Y'all let me know. Been busy, had to catch up with the coverage. So basically, Kamala wants to front me a grip and a zip and put me in the game for my vote. Okay, you got it. All right. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Lott. I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold me down and get it in. All right, so I'm going to try to plug up this microphone one more time and see what the word is. Because y'all keep saying it's buzzing and that it's not buzzing. All of this stuff. What the hell is that? It's the last thing I need. Last thing I need today. Yo. What up? Is it still buzzing now? Is it buzzing or is it no? Is it still buzzing? What the fuck? Let's try something a little different. Wasn't expecting for the morning to go like this. Did it stop? Am I good now? Is it still buzzing or did it stop? Because if it's still buzzing, then I'm going to switch microphones to the Rode mic. Did it stop or are we good? Because I'm a little distracted. I'm a little bit dismayed by what's going on. Is it still buzzing or no? Now we good. Yeah, I had no issues from the get-go. It's in their head. It's a minor buzz, to be honest with you, but it's not bothering me, so proceed. It's better now. You good. Get the likes up. It stopped. Good. No buzzing. All right. Well, now we can get started with the show. It's perfect. All right. Now that we good, let's get it popping. Let me read some of the super chats, and we'll get started with the show. President Dante said, enjoy your show, bro, but go back to the mic. It sounded better. We got a whole lot of mics. We got roadie mics. We got this mic. We got a whole bunch of mics in here, so we can switch it up no matter what it is that we do. That's why we invest in our products. Kamala's team is messing with you. Probably are. DJ A's production says, it's humming. You had the bad XLR cable. The ground is loose. Change it out. Okay. It's buzzing ruckish bone. Only hear buzz when the volume is on max. Maybe turn your volume in the mid. No buzzing no more. All right. Shout out to my girl Annie Marie and shout out to the chat. My co-host for the show. So I'm assuming that everything is all good now and that we good. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with the show. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and get into Quick Hits, y'all. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to bring every single thing into the front of the congregation, but we definitely want to keep you guys up to date on what's going on in these streets, man. First things first. Oakland mayor stated a city address, a lot of protesting. They want to get her up out of there, and then some people are saying that she a good mayor. Check it out.
It got a little heated today as supporters and opponents of Mayor Sheng Tao held dueling rallies just steps apart.
This is another form of voter suppression. We already cast our ballot for Mayor Sheng Tao.
I grew up here. You stole our city.
Well, a few hours later, the mayor headed to City Hall to deliver her State of the City address. Here's a live look inside the city council chambers where the mayor is speaking right now. Minutes ago, she laid out an optimistic outlook for the city.
And looking back on where we were this time just last year, where we are today is nothing short of inspiring for me. Sometimes in the day-to-day grind, we forget to zoom out a little bit, to look at the bigger picture. And when I look at the deeply impactful work that we have accomplished together in this past year, I am truly amazed.
But some council members say the mayor is not telling the whole truth about the city's financial problems. Our Katie Nielsen breaks down the high-stakes budget battle.
I'm not playing with you. Stop yelling in my ear.
What are you going to do?
Stop yelling in my ear.
No, what are you going to do?
Shut up. You're not even in this.
Or else you're not touching.
Tensions were running high in Oakland's Chinatown this morning as protesters supporting Tao staying in office traded jabs with those who want to see her recalled.
You wrecked our city. What'd you do with the money?
It comes as the city is dealing with a serious budget deficit after restructuring the deal to sell its share of the Oakland Coliseum. According to the mayor's office, the sale is still on track to go through, but instead of the city getting payments over the next few months, the majority of the money wouldn't be available until the end of the fiscal year, leaving a $48 million hole to fill.
If your budget is dependent on you to sell a Coliseum, but then you don't even get the money to the end of the year, which basically means that they're financing a deal and they're hoping to get fully financed in the deal from some big bank or a bunch of different banks that's putting a deal together, then you in trouble. Because the next fiscal year, you still going to be in the same place that you was this year because tax revenues is down, businesses are leaving, unless you raise property taxes on the people, which is just going to drive more crime and drive people out of there, then it's going to be a problem. It's no way to solve for this except for basically starting over from scratch and figuring out how you can fix this whole situation.
We're in a bad budget situation. We need to be open and honest about where we are and what we need to cut.
Councilmember Janani Ramachandran says the city is already working from a contingency, worst-case scenario budget, and the city administrator's office is making cuts to balance the budget. But she says what no one is talking about is where those cuts are coming from.
People deserve to know the truth, and as much pushback as I'm getting for exposing these realities, I'm going to keep doing it so that the public has a sense of what's actually going on and what to anticipate.
We tried to ask the mayor about the council members' concerns today.
They've said they're not getting any answers about where the contingency budget cuts are coming from. Would you like to comment on that?
They're all the documents are already published, so everyone can read it.
Have there been cuts to police or fire at this point?
Absolutely not.
But Councilmember Trevor Reed says those cuts are inevitable because public safety is the single largest expense from the city's general fund. There's no way to close the budget gap without making drastic cuts to public safety.
There are no details, and when there are no details, there's a deeper degree of distrust.
Reed questions whether the lack of transparency from the mayor's office has to do with the possibility of her being recalled.
I believe that fear and desperation will lead to a lot of things, and I believe that we are feeling the weight of that level of.
Blue cities are failing left and right. Left and right blue cities are going to fall all across the country unless y'all make an adjustment to who y'all voting in, and that's just the facts. On top of that, Nasty Nate, a high school assistant principal, is being charged with sexual assault. Check it out.
I didn't want it to happen to anyone else.
Right now at 6 o'clock, only on 2, we are hearing from a 20-year-old who says he was sexually assaulted by the assistant principal of the school he once attended. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Daniela Guzman.
And I'm Keith Garvin. Brian Tigner is charged with sexual assault following the crime on September 27th. Police arrested him on Friday. KPRC2 reporter Corley Peel joins us live outside Westbury High School. She spoke with the man who reported the crime. Corley.
Keith and Daniela, the 20-year-old man tells me he is traumatized. He says he first met Brian Tigner while he was a student at this school 2 years ago. He says that Tigner reached out to him on Instagram after he graduated and they became friends. He says he would often go over to his apartment and they would drink alcohol and smoke weed. He says he never felt that his safety was in danger until now. Why is it so important for you to speak up?
I didn't want it to happen to anyone else. I know that he works with a lot of other kids, young men. This could happen to anyone.
We sat down with 20-year-old Malachi Knight Boyle as he talked about the last time he hung out with Westbury High School assistant principal Brian Tigner.
I was just chilling on the couch. We played the game. We were drinking, smoking, the usual, like how we usually would do. Like when I woke up, that's when everything happened.
Knight Boyle says he woke up to Tigner performing an unwanted sex act on him.
I just started fighting. I just started fighting them off.
Has he ever made a pass at you like that before?
No, nothing that I noticed, no.
He says Tigner.
Okay, all right. Listen. We're going to have to clarify exactly what an unwanted act is. I don't even think that we need to clarify. I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I don't even want, listen, bro. This is why I catch a lot of flack a lot of times from guys saying, no, man, you got to hang out with the bros, bro code. At least if I'm hanging out with ladies, I know that if any way possible they look at you from a sexual perspective, we don't have a problem. I may have to fight you off a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But if you're hanging out with the ladies and they looking at you in a sexual way, I'm not feeling no type of way about that. I'm like, you know what? I'm just him. But if you hanging out with young dudes or y'all in the crib and y'all always keep visiting each other and y'all always playing video games together and y'all always smoking together, that's a problem. So wait a minute. You praying and you grooming and you going to wait till they hit 18 and then call them, hey, you want to come over and smoke, play video games? Who all going to be there? Just me and you. listen. I know this guy is saying that he's blowing the whistle and all of that because he don't want it to happen to anybody else. But if you 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, why would you go over, and this doesn't absolve the assistant principal from being a nasty Nate. Why would you go over a growner man's house to smoke and play video games and drink alone? And why would you fall asleep at their Why would you fall asleep at a grown man's house after y'all just got done smoking and drinking and playing video games? It's so many red flags. So you ain't never got a girl over here? Hey man, where your girl at? Your girl just left? She never came over? You don't never got no girlfriend? You a grown man. You don't talk to women? It's so many questions. It's so many questions, honest to God, that you would have to ask yourself that you just cannot ignore. You going over a grown... If you keep inviting me over your crib, hey, Tom, you want to come through, big dog? The first thing I'm going to ask you, the first thing that I ask is, all right, who going to be there? You got a party? Y'all got a rooftop party? Who all going to be there? If you tell me, oh, it's just me and you, I just want to smoke with you, play video games with you. What? No. Hey, man, we're not going to be able to hang out no more, bro. So, yeah. You cannot invite me over to smoke and play video games alone, by ourselves. Two men. Get out of here.
Tigner tried to stop him from leaving.
Please, bro, let's talk about it. I'll send you $50. I'm like, bro, what you mean you gonna send me $50? Well, I'm gonna do it, you know? He tried to offer me money.
Knight Boyle got away and called police. He was examined at the hospital where doctors noticed his bruised hand. When detectives spoke with Tigner, records show they noticed he had a black eye. He first told police he got it from breaking up a school fight, but detectives figured out that was not true. It was from Knight Boyle fighting him off. Tigner is out on bond, so I gave him a call.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
But he didn't pick up.
I feel like he needs to be held accountable. I'm glad that he's being charged.
You know, other people are going to be watching this. What would you encourage they do if they're in a situation like you've been in?
It's always going to be someone you can talk to.
Yeah, he definitely a weed head. That's why Kamala Harris keep offering y'all weed and loans for y'all vote, because she can see y'all lips. Oh, you smoked out? Let me offer you weed and loans. That's nasty. All the way across the board is nasty. And then last but not least, it was a video that went viral during Hurricane Milton. And when they were anticipating it hitting Tampa and absolutely drowning the city in 15-foot waves, there was a video that went viral of the police discovering a dog that was chained to a fence when they were anticipating snakes, gators, and in high water and flooding that would have ultimately drowned anybody that was below 10 feet, right? So the police officers was driving by, and there was a video that went viral. I don't know if y'all ever seen this. And it was a dog that was chained to a wired fence. Check it out.
Well, he is the dog who stole the hearts of people across the country. And tonight we have an update on Trooper, who was found abandoned along I-75 in Hillsborough County. That was the day Hurricane Milton made landfall.
Fox 13's Ariel Placencia has more on the owner, who has now been identified and charged.
As Hurricane Milton was barreling toward our state, this dog was left to fend for itself in Hillsborough County.
It's okay. It's okay.
And the dog was chained. It was chained down, so it couldn't even move.
It's okay.
Florida Highway Patrol troopers found the dog standing in water up to its chest after a Good Samaritan spotted the furry friend tied to a pole on I-75 near Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. Hillsborough State Attorney Susie Lopez says.
And so Trooper Morales rescued this dog, whose name is now Trooper, which I think is just great. And this dog is now safe.
Lopez tells us 23-year-old Giovanni Aldama Garcia has now been charged with aggravated animal cruelty. She says Garcia told investigators he was driving to Georgia to escape the hurricane, but left his dog on the side of the road because he couldn't find anyone to pick the dog up.
He did admit to being the dog's owner and admitted to wanting to get rid of this dog and had been making efforts to get rid of this dog for several weeks or months even before the storm. And this was his way to do it.
In the days following the dog's rescue, rumors circulated on social media that Trooper had been returned to its owner. However, the Leon County Humane Society wrote on Facebook that that never happened. Instead, the dog Trooper was brought to their facility due to expected damage to Hillsborough County. Leon County staff wrote that since the Florida Highway Patrol trooper who brought the dog in was the same person who picked the dog back up to be transferred, that's why the dog was mistakenly listed as returned to owner. The original owner never came forward, they said. Since then, the Leon County Humane Society has received hundreds of inquiries about the dog. Meanwhile, Lopez says some crimes can be enhanced to more serious ones if they're committed during a state of emergency. Animal cruelty is not one of them.
It has not been enhanced because we don't have the ability to do that, but the folks in Tallahassee do.
In Tampa, Ariel Placencia.
And that's evil. And I'm not even a big dog guy. Like, I'm not even the guy that's going to be like, oh, man, I love animals. I love puppies. I'm not a dog guy, but that's just evil. To set your dog up to drown or be eaten by alligators or snakes or something like that in the middle of a hurricane. No, that's just evil. It's just absolutely wrong. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right, let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Yoshi says Mike needed that Tiege pack. It was being dusty. This is an XLR cable, I guess. I got a whole bunch of them. I got like 20 of them here. Adam Coleman says, I write for the New York Post and gave my 2 cents on Kamala's interview yesterday. For your information, was on Fox News with Jesse Waters on Friday, too. Keep up the good work. Hey, shout out to you, big dog. Yeah. Shout out to y'all. We're going to talk about these Fox News appearances today. I actually have that planned as a part of the show. Dean Murray says, Madden and cheek clapping is wild. That's insane. I do not want to play video games with you by myself. Freedom Care Podcast says, yesterday marks 2 years that CGA completely washed Hafiz in the debate and made him quit YouTube. I would have never quit YouTube. Care how bad I did. Romel Doug says, Anton, the coach was on the one blowing the whistle. I know. Was the one blowing the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. That's like the biggest pause ever. Jasmine says, it was the oosh, gosh, goof, wash. Oh, my God. Shout out to my girl. Shout out to the chat. I'll be reading super chats throughout the show. Thank you to everybody that continues to hold me down. Hold on. All right, I'll get there in a minute. All right, so let's get into the show, all right? So Kamala Harris apparently did an audio town hall with Charlamagne the God in Detroit. So she flew. Okay, so think about this for a minute, y'all. Let's put this in perspective. She flew to Detroit to do an audio town hall hosted by somebody that's not from Detroit, so that she could try to get black men on board in swing states like Detroit after unveiling her economic plan with a sassy man on the Shade Room. Okay. But she did it. I did not listen to it yet because I was very, very busy. I was doing my own interviews. And I do want to let y'all know that make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. I will be on Dr. Phil tonight. Yep. So whatever channel and whatever app Dr. Phil is on, I will be on Dr. Phil tonight. I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern. Whatever prime time is, 8 p.m. Eastern, whatever Dr. Phil prime time come on. They told me to buckle up, so I guess during the editing process, for whatever they seen, it was something different. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow after I watch it live tonight. But anyways, Kamala Harris decided that she wanted to pull up and do an audio town hall. So I don't want to go through any of the people that stood up and asked questions and stuff like that. I just want to see what she said about the things that Charlamagne, I guess, was asking her, and we'll just go through it, all right? So let's see if we can get anything out of this that's worthy of having a conversation about. Let's see.
Harris, how are you?
Very well, Charlamagne. How you doing?
Listen, we got 20 days and 60 minutes, so we just need to get to it.
I'm with you, although it's 21 days.
How are you? Because you did just walk in. You was kind of late, so.
Well, I try to be on time. Apparently, I'm 40 seconds late. You're right.
Well, you are black, so okay. Now, now one thing they've been saying, a lot of your press
is those the earrings that y'all keep talking about?
Criticized, folks.
Are those the earrings that y'all keep talking about? Because I know that women wear pearl earrings. But I'm just wondering if these are the earrings that y'all keep talking about that she wearing, that she getting audio from somebody else.
So you come off as very scripted. They say you like to stick to your talking points. And some media says you have...
That would be called discipline.
Oh, okay. Speak to that.
But go on.
No, I was going to say, some people say you have an inability to fearlessly say who you are and what you believe. I know that's not true. But what do you say to that criticism? And is it fair for SNL to make fun of it?
Hasn't Maya Rudolph been wonderful?
Yes.
I think I have nothing but admiration for the comedy, and I think it's important to be able to laugh at yourself and each other.
But what do you say to people who say
in the spirit of obviously comedy and not belittling people as my opponent would do?
But what do you say to people who say you stay on the talking points?
I would say you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, here's the thing. I love having conversations, which is why I'm so happy to be with you this afternoon. And the reality is that there are certain things that must be repeated to ensure that I have everyone know what I stand for and the issues that I think are at stake in this election.
Mm-hmm.
And so it requires repetition. Some people say that until someone has heard the same thing at least 3 times, it just doesn't stay with you. So repetition is important.
You Dr. Umar Johnson now? Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. My black people. I said my black people. Let me say it one more time. So you understand, overstand, and understand. So now, so you a part of the black Pan-Africanism now. You understand, overstand, and understand. Okay. So listen, let me tell you the truth. It's because they're talking points given to her, not written by her. And she's just speaking what somebody else told her to say, whether it's an aide, whether it was created by lobbyists, whether it was people that's funding her. These are talking points. And so I don't understand why you would think that it's necessary for us to know that you love people's lawns, that you and your sister grew up middle class, and my mother raised us, and she bought a house when we was a teenager, and her friend owned a daycare, and they love us, so I love my middle class business owners. I don't understand why that level of repetition is necessary. If you're making sure that you're repeating policy or things that they need to know so that they can communicate it over to other people to help you to understand, or help people to understand why you would be a better candidate for the President of the United States of America, then that's a different conversation. But she word for word has memorized her script, and that's what we see happening every single day.
And for that reason, yes, at my rallies, I say the same thing when I go to Detroit as I do in Philly, as I do wherever I am, to make sure that people hear and receive what I think are some of the most critical issues that are at stake in this election.
There has to be a high level of anxiety, too, when you have these conversations, though, because you are running for president.
I mean, you know what? There's certainly a lot of, I feel the weight of the moment and my role. I feel an extraordinary weight of responsibility right now to do everything I can. I'm telling you, Charlamagne, when I go to bed at night, I almost every night, in addition to my prayers, will ask, have I done everything I could do today?
Prayers to who? Not the way that these Democrats is trying to push stuff that's ungodly on us. Prayers to who? Man, these people are selling y'all an image. They selling y'all a narrative. They not really God-fearing. They are not of God, and God is not with them. I could tell you that right now. They are not of God, and God is not with them.
This is a margin of error race. It's tight. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. But it's tight. And, you know, what is at stake is truly profound and almost and historic, many would say. And it's about, some people would say this lofty notion of supporting and preserving our democracy.
Mm-hmm.
But it is about real issues that affect people every day, like whether we're going to maintain a $35 cap on insulin for our seniors, whether we're going to continue to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices to bring them down, whether we are going to have, as my opponent would have, a formalized stop and frisk policy, for which he has said if a police department does not do it, they should be defunded or not. There is
cleaned up New York City, that's for sure.
So much at stake. Whether America is going to stand on its principles around the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity and stand with our allies around the world, or whether we're going to admire dictators and send, during the height of COVID in the pandemic, COVID tests that nobody could get to the president of Russia for his personal use when black people were dying every day by the hundreds during that time.
Yeah, I feel like that one.
Ain't it ironic? Think about this, y'all, for a second. Isn't it ironic how she made sure, pay attention, because nobody is being finessed. And this is why every single day up to the day and after this election, I am going to be very much on top of these things, because you need to get it broken down from a C student's perspective. Isn't it ironic that she would not mention black people? That when she was asked in previous interviews in the beginning of her campaign and before, she would avoid every single question that had anything tied to do with black. Are you black? Will you do things for black people? She never had a talking point on how black people was affected. She didn't even accept the invitation from the National Association of Black Journalists before Trump pulled up, and then she showed up a month later. Now, with 21 days, now 20 days left until the election, everything is black of the black. I got to say things 3 times, peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. Now you writing whole policies or campaign promises to black people on your website. Now and black people are disproportionately affected. Get the hell out of here, bro. Seriously. And I'm not saying that she should have. I'm saying I'm showing you the chameleon vibes that she is. There is no consistency. And so it makes you look worse when you go back and forth. I'm fracking, I'm no fracking. I'm blacking, I'm no blacking. It makes it bad because we don't even know who you are. But at the very least, whether you disagree or agree with Trump, you know exactly what you're going to get. And we have a sample size of that, 2016 through 2020, exactly how we governed. Everybody is saying that he's going to do all of this stuff, then why he didn't do it the first time? And then you saying you are going to do all of this stuff, but why y'all didn't do it the first time? Now everything for the next 20 days is black on the black hand side. We don't like this side. We only want to go with the black hand side. It's the black of the black. Hey, I like your black gums. I like your black mouse. I like your black desk. I like your black microphone. Black of the black. Now it's disproportionately affecting the black of the black side. What the hell is this? What is this? Now you Bernie Mac. Now it's disproportionately affecting black people. It's only the black people, black side. Girl.
That one has gone over people's heads, the fact that he was sending COVID tests to Putin.
I mean, I invite, your listeners, the people we know, the number of people who lost their grandparents and parents.
Here we go.
Remember what that was like during the height of COVID? And a lot of it, people were scrambling for the resources and needed tests. And Donald Trump, during that time, secretly sent...
Always want to talk about Trump, never can talk about themselves. But let's continue.
In the 2016 election, because I was a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee when we investigated it, targeted black voters in 2016 with mis and disinformation to discourage black people from voting in that election. And this is just another of the very many examples of who Donald Trump really is and the danger he presents to real people.
Sending COVID tests to Russia, that doesn't sound very America first at all. But it's not just you versus Trump, it's you versus misinformation.
Yes, that's true.
Right? And one of the biggest...
like the fact that everything that she do on her website is always around Project 2025. Nobody ever fact checks this woman.
Pieces of misinformation. One of the biggest allegations against you is that you targeted and locked up thousands of black men in San Francisco for weed. Some say you did it to boost your career. Some say you did it out of pure hate for black men. Please tell us the facts. What's the facts of that situation?
It's just simply not true. And what public defenders who are around those days will tell you, I was the most progressive prosecutor in California on
crime, getting people out of jail. She was the most, listen, let me tell you what the talking point of this one is, because I've heard all of this too. I was the most progressive. I wanted to make sure that I lowered the consequences of weed and marijuana laws and all of this stuff. Like, we know this. You're the most progressive. You prosecuted transnational gangs. You wanted people to get out for weed. All of a sudden, now that you got a weed proposal on your website for black men.
Marijuana cases. And would not send people to jail for simple possession of weed. And as vice president, have been a champion for bringing marijuana down on the schedule. So instead of it being ranked up there with heroin, we bring it down. And my pledge is, as president, I will work on decriminalizing it, because I know exactly how those laws have been used to
make sure that marginalized communities and black people are affected the most. Is that it?
Disproportionately impact certain populations, and specifically black men.
Mm-hmm.
So black men, I don't even smoke weed. My friends don't smoke trees either. And that's why when you go to Kamala Harris's website, they're telling you that one of their 5 pillars and proposals for black men, this is crazy. It is crazy how tone deaf these people are. And they think that they got the goods for you. They're going to give you the game. They're going to help you to understand how they're going to fix your situation. If you go to Kamala Harris's website, and so you see her issues, the issues that she's doing. Let me pull this up real quick. Issues, Kamala Harris. You go to her website, right? She's talking about the issues that she want to solve for. The opportunity agenda for black men. And she got a whole picture with all of these simps up there, right? And you start to go into it. Number 3, specifically, will deliver for black men and their families. One of the things is, I'm going to legalize marijuana at the federal level to break down unjust legal barriers that hold black men and other Americans back. Really? Really? Is that what we doing today? Are we really having this conversation? Really? Seriously? I would be offended if I was y'all. But, I mean, I guess y'all all weed smokers. Let's get to it.
Before we get into the talkback feature and take some questions from the audience, I do want to talk to you about the legalization of weed, because you're saying you want to legalize it now. What steps did the Biden administration take to get closer to that reality?
So we had to work with the DEA, and there's a certain level of bureaucracy that exists in the federal government that slows things down. But essentially, to bring down how weed is classified, how marijuana is classified, to make it classified as a lesser harm. Mm-hmm. And so that took some time. There's a whole process around that, but that's the work that we have done. In addition,
of all the things that we could be doing with the federal government, honestly, because this is not even applicable to me. I'm going to just be honest with you. For me and the people that's in my circle in particular, we not worried about getting caught up on weed charges. Dog, that is so 1993. That is so 1993. The last thing that I'm concerned about as one of the pillars to fix the black community, or black men in particular, which I don't even consider myself anything except for a Christian and American first. The last thing that I'm worried about is decriminalization of marijuana to try to make sure that I get an opportunity. You mean all I got to do is stop smoking and I can go and get the job that I want? 6 months clean and my lips won't be black? Why are they only having this conversation? When she go to a town hall in Pennsylvania, when they're stomping in Arizona, when they're making sure they're reaching out to the people in Ohio, why is not the decriminalization of marijuana at the top of the talking point? But all of a sudden, when black men start to revolt about the fact that they don't want to vote for her based off of the disrespect that Obama and them continue to try to roll out in front of them, now Obama is automatic. Somehow he off the campaign trail and don't nobody want to talk to Obama no more. Ain't nobody heard from Obama since the weekend. Ain't nobody heard from Obama. Somehow he just disappeared and he went back into his one of his 3 mansions over at Martha's Vineyard or something. Now we start getting conversations about the decriminalization of marijuana. Man, get the hell out of here, bro. This is so dumb, man.
To work that we have done writ large on criminal justice reform.
Okay. Let's take some calls. Let's take some. When I call.
All right. Listen, it's nothing else for me to see here, honestly. There's nothing else for me to see here. I don't even care. This is stupid. It's dumb. It's ignorant. It's disrespectful. I am not interested in doing any more town hall conversation or anything like that personally. I think it's dumb. Y'all think we should listen to a little bit more just for the sake of conversation? All right, let's listen a little bit more.
Oh, let's go to the talkback feature.
My question for Kamala is...
Wait. So that's not a real call. That's just like I told y'all was going to happen. The person started speaking and saying what their question was without even, so this is not a call-in show. This is not authentic. This is not something that people call in and they say, hey, what's your question? All right, you on with Kamala. What do you got to say? There ain't no phone number. It's a talkback feature where they basically take pre-recorded calls from people so that they can send them to her and then she can answer the question according to her comfortability. This is so dumb, man. It's so stupid.
Why are we, and I say we because my tax dollars is sending the money, why are we sending money to other countries when we desperately need it in our own country for homeless, housing, resources, for whatever? That is my determining factor if I vote for Kamala or not.
That's one of the reasons the America First rhetoric resonates, because nobody in America would complain about where money was going if American citizens' everyday needs were being met. So what do you say to that?
We can do it all, and we do. So first of all, I maintain very strongly America should never pull ourselves away from our responsibility as a world leader. And that is in the best interest of our national security and each one of us as Americans and our standing in the world. That being said, we also have an obligation to American citizens, obviously, and people who are here to meet their everyday needs and challenges, which is why, for example, we have done the work in the last 4 years of bringing down the cost of prescription medication, whether it be $35 a month for seniors for insulin or $2,000 a year cap on prescription medication. What we have done that has been about putting $17 billion in our HBCUs. I am proud to be the first HBCU vice president of the United States. I intend to be the first HBCU president of the United States. Those resources are about sending them to centers of academic excellence that I know them to be. The work that I continue to do is about increasing access to capital for our small businesses. It is about increasing the opportunity for home ownership.
Same talking points, bro. Increasing access to capital for small businesses, tax write-offs, home ownership, $25,000, cost of cap of insulin and prescription drug prices, $6,000 for little kids, and the opportunity to be able to remove that little kid if you don't want it within the 6th, 7th, and 8th month. It's the same thing over and over. She is right. Repetition does create a situation where you can spew off the talking points, but if the talking points are stupid, then what difference do it make?
Ownership, knowing that Black people are 40% less likely to be homeowners in America. We have a history of legal and procedural obstacles to that home ownership, starting with the fact nobody got 40 acres and a mule, to redlining, to issues that this.
Now she's speaking to black issues. Now black issues is important. Now it's black issues.
Detroit area and people around the country know to be real. So part of my plan is that we're going to give people a $25,000 down payment assistance to get their foot in the door to buy a home for first-time home buyers. The work that I'm going to do to increase housing supply in America, knowing
3 million new homes by the end of your first term. Even though we don't need new homes, we need affordability.
That's one of the reasons that rents and housing prices are jacked up. And to work with the private sector, cut through the red tape, and work to build more housing, 3 million before the end of my first term. And I give these examples, and there are many more which I will offer. So, for example, the work that I will do to extend the child tax credit.
$6,000 so you can buy a stroller, a baby seat, Enfamil formula for, I mean, did I not predict that she was going to say this? She just remixing it in order to try to make it seem like it's for black people. This is the same things that she's been saying for the whole time. And it's not specific to black people. She is saying these talking points that she will not be able to fulfill. And she's just remixing it and saying that, oh, it's because black people have been historically redlined against and they've had a higher barrier to home ownership. And so what we gonna do is we're gonna give $25,000 to new home buyers. Not to black people, but to new home buyers. Let me guess, $6,000 for little kids in order to make sure that you can get a new baby seat formula, and then you're going to go into small businesses, community banking, $5,000 to $50,000. Okay, let's see where we're going.
Which I will offer. So, for example, the work that I will do to extend the child tax credit to $6,000 for young families during the first year of their child's life. Because as you and I both know, our families all have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. So by expanding the child tax credit to the first year of a child's life to $6,000, that gives that young family the ability to buy a car seat or a crib or clothes, the things that are so important during that critical phase of that child's development.
Got it.
So that they can get on the road
Child
and actually
seats.
have a chance at succeeding.
You know, you said we can do it all, but can we? Because, you know, Tupac famously said, you know, we got money for war, but can't feed the poor, right? And I saw President Obama say last week that, you know, you really shouldn't expect, you know, a president to rid the world of all of its problems. And so is it fair to tell people, hey, we can do it all? Because that's when people get disappointed, when things don't happen.
But I think President Obama is absolutely correct, but it doesn't mean we can't do anything.
That's right.
So when I talk about extending the child tax credit, when I was vice president, I pushed that we would do it during our first year. And we reduced black child poverty in America by 50%. We did
From
that.
the child tax credit. Okay, I got you.
We can do that. My plan that is about building up home ownership in the black community. We can do that. My work that has been about increasing access to capital, bringing billions more dollars into our community.
Didn't I just not say that access to capital, community banking, $5,000, $50,000, business owners, first-time business owners? Did I not just say that she was going to figure out a way to plug that in there?
Which I've done as vice president through cooperation and partnership with some of the big banks and tech companies to get more access to capital for our entrepreneurs, for our businesses. We've done that. So we should never sit back and say, okay, I'm not going to vote because everything hasn't been solved. I share a desire that everything should be solved, by the way. I think it is.
Somebody said, I was looking for you in the back end, time. Don't. I wasn't invited. I know who was invited, but I wasn't invited. Some people that was invited actually turned down the offer, but I know who was invited and who wasn't invited. I wasn't invited. Trump will be here this weekend, though. I did get an invite to some other stuff. We'll talk about it later.
What we should all want. But that shouldn't stand in the way of us also knowing we can participate in a process that's about improving things. And by voting in this election, you have two choices. Or you don't vote. But you have two choices if you do.
One that wants to bring us together and work on the behalf of the community, and the other one that wants to give police immunity. Is that what she's going to say? I don't know. I have no clue.
And it's two very different visions for our nation. One mind that is about taking us forward and progress and investing in the American people. And
the other one that wants to give police immunity and wants to cozy up to dictators across the nation like Putin and Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un, and one that wants to take us backwards, right?
In their ambitions, dealing with their challenges. And the other, Donald Trump, is about taking us backward.
The other is about fascism. Why can't we just say it?
Yes, we can say that.
Yeah. Reverend Solomon Kinlock Jr.
Jesus Christ. The other one is about taking us backwards. Right. This is a waste of time. Thought we was going to get something new, but this was probably the worst one that she's done so far because we know that she's pandering. So shout out to the audio town hall for Kamala Harris. More good content to troll all the way up into this election for Donald Trump to win it. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Because we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We got a lot to cover when it comes to this Kamala Harris. Chameleon. Aaron L. says he offered him $50. I thought it was $40. Got to blame Kamala for these new inflation prices. He did offer him $50 in order to keep his mouth shut. South 343 says just checking in on the road back to Augusta. Well, shout out to my people over there in Georgia. I love y'all. I heard that early voting is starting now. What in the World TV says, just let her win. We good. They love the slappings. You said let the people suffer. 21 days is the only time blacks are important during an election. It's shameful. Y'all know y'all get the bad end of the stick. The masked man says, what makes me uneasy is that they know exactly who Kamala is and still chose her. That makes me think they have some plan to rig this election one way or another in her favor. We're not going to let that happen. We're going to overwhelmingly turn out and we're going to vote. Travis Abrams says, you're going to love when she responds to the sneakers that come in. Thank you for your good work, Anton. Common Sense since 2024. I don't want to hear nothing else from her. I can only take so much in one day. You know what I'm saying? C. Hayes says, hey, Anton, go listen to some of the questions the audience asked her. They were pretty good questions, plus some of the questions came from brothers. Nope. Smooth Artist says, all jokes aside, I really enjoy the morning show. Shout out to my dog, Smooth Artist. Cynthia Haynes says, the nerve of Kamala and the God to come to Detroit and disregard you, Anton. The God didn't even ask her about fundraising transgender surgery with taxpayer dollars, which he is against. I don't care. I don't want to be a part of the boule. Sending the vid test to Putin for personal use is called diplomacy. Y'all need to go and read Henry Kissinger's book called Diplomacy. A lot of people not familiar with it. Better to keep Russia at least neutral in a potential war with China. Biden's weakness in foreign policy has also pushed Russia further away. You get it. You get it, Derek. See, that's why they keep getting mad at black men, because they act like we don't know what's going on, but we understand. We got it. Aztecian Prick says, my first super chat to you. Shout out to you. I'm black and our community is screwed. Just let them go and let them be replaced by black immigrants. Just keeping it real. The community is done. They made their bed. Now sleep in it. Savage the servant says, Paul Mooney said it best. Everybody want to be a ninja, but nobody want to be a ninja. Kamala is an opportunistic clown. Appreciated, Mr. Daniels says. Tim Stepney. Thank you, Tim. Travis Abrams says, also when cold turkey was smoking weed almost 4 months from now. Better sleep, clearer thinking, more money in my pocket, best decision that I've ever made. Aztec says, yet Trump sent money to the HBCU. She did nothing but bribe us with weed. Sav, the servant says, Anton, I'd love to join a lie because I have smoke for the opposition that's always on your live. Which ones? IH says she repeated herself then more than Umar Johnson. That's a fact. Jasmine says, we as an I am not responsible for money supporting other countries as far as national security. We stopped supporting them in 2016 through 2019 and had 0 wars because we forced them to be responsible for themselves. She repeated herself more than Dr. Umar. Sav the servant says this is Kamala's hot sauce attempts to pander and beyond. It's pathetically sad. P. Shank says, morning, Mr. Anton. Did you see anything dedicated to black people on Kamala's website? So I guess the words others include all. It does. Ray Ranger Bear says, please pull up Kamala lying Kamala music video. I can't do it yet. I can't do it right now. We got to keep it going. Derek Perry says, thinking that the government can do everything for you and solve all your problems is your first mistake. It's called personal responsibility. That's why I say Republicans ain't trying to give you a handout. They trying to clear the way for you to get to that bag. Executive Suite MLE, my guy, says a tax credit isn't money up front. What happens if that family owes $6,000 plus to the Fed when they file? Then that tax credit means nothing. Pookie politics. American Virus is Freedom says, I was raised by a single mother in townhome apartments. The problem with getting new homeowners into homes is a hidden cost of maintaining it. Most don't have the knowledge of how or how much. It's an affordability crisis. Thank God she wasn't the presidential candidate in 2016. Everybody would have voted for her right after Obama. He tried to push Hillary Clinton through. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it. So, she is actually declining other interviews while doing trash interviews with Charlamagne the God. Let's see what that is all about, and let's see what interviews she is actually turning down while ensuring that she can do a audio town hall in Detroit.
While former President Trump took the time to speak with Bloomberg, Kamala Harris said, no thanks.
Just for the record and for those people watching on television, the Economic Club of Chicago and Bloomberg both invited Vice President Harris to a similar interview about her economic plans that she has declined so far.
Anything to actually deep dive into finance, economics, money, the small business, how we're funding other wars but not funding here in the United States of America, she turns down because she can't stand in front of a teleprompter. It's easy not to be able to speak to the weed issues, or, you know, if she don't want to go in a deep dive into her economic plan, then she's going to turn it down and she's going to reject it. And so Bloomberg, the Economic Club of Chicago, what she don't realize is that black people care more about our money, especially black men. Listen, black men understand money make the world go round. That's what Nas said. Nas said, if I ruled the world and everything in it, sky's the limit. I push a Q45 infinite. There wouldn't be no such thing as that. I push a Q45 infinite. That was back in like 92, 93 though. Strictly living longevity to the destiny I thought I'd never see. What reality struck, you better find out before your time's out. What the, if I ruled the world. Black diamonds and pearls. If I ruled the world. But anyway, she's turning down these interviews, the ones of substance that black men actually want to know what's going on, because nothing is better for us than getting our bag up. We can figure the rest of it out. But let's continue.
The Harris campaign has also rejected interviews from CNBC and Time Magazine.
Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor, and he joins us now. Joe, good morning to you. So this is an interesting one because she is denying some interviews, but also she's going to be coming on Fox News today, and she apparently is toying with the idea of potentially going on Joe Rogan's show as well. So what do you make of her decisions, what she says yes and no to, and what it says about her overall strategy?
That would be a stretch.
Well, Carly, I think it shows that Kamala Harris is showing she can't do multiple difficult interviews at once, especially when those interviews are focused on the economy. And that's what the Bloomberg and CNBC interviews would have done. It wouldn't be like general questions like we saw with CNN or MSNBC, like what would you do to lower the cost of living? A question she usually answers by reminding us that she grew up in a middle-class neighborhood, that even SNL is mocking her around because she uses that in her answers so much. But it would, as we saw with Donald Trump, as you just showed at the Bloomberg Forum yesterday, it would be.
I'm going to be doing a review of Trump at the Bloomberg Forum yesterday, tomorrow, all right?
More than an hour-long deep dive into economic policy around antitrust laws or interest rates or trade deals or taxes. And I think Kamala Harris's CPU would likely, short circuit like an old computer if you poured water on it in that situation. So her handler said, no go. But as you mentioned, she then has to go on tonight with Bret Baier on Fox, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in San Francisco Pacific time. And that's 30 minutes, no commercials, no edits. Bret will be professional as always, as we've seen in the past, and will ask tough, fair, and germane questions. This will be a make or break interview for her campaign tonight on Fox, because she's never really faced an interview like this before. 60 Minutes, she got a little taste of it, but I think this will be a much different story.
Why is it only a half hour? How come you can't just get a whole hour of straight up good dialogue questions? You know, they strategically keep things to 24, 25 minutes, a half hour, and they let her filibuster. They let her go and throw a bunch of word salad and extend her answers for a very long time. And we're not impressed with that. We want a whole hour, Bloomberg, financial policy, trade deficits. We want to know all about that. Tariffs. We want you to deep dive into all of these real issues that we know that you're not capable of talking about
Tonight, and let's see how she does when she
And I will be breaking this down tomorrow, just to let y'all know.
actually gets these things called follow-up questions, which I'm sure Mr. Baier will engage in.
Yeah, without a doubt, it is going to be the main event. And I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to the economic discussion, because when you go on a CNBC or a Bloomberg, like you and I, when we go on Fox Business, you have to view everything through the lens of money. And you definitely have to change how you approach topics
Everything
when you're
comes
sitting
back
down
down
for a
to the
discussion with a Maria, with a Stu. Can she do that? Joe Concha is saying that would be tough for her to do when it comes to her economic policies.
Which is one of the reasons why I don't believe she'll ever go on Joe Rogan.
A little bit.
Harris resorting instead
What up,
to scare
Carrie?
tactics in her town hall with Charlamagne the God. Take a listen.
It's two very different visions for our nation. One mind that is about taking us forward and progress and investing in the American people, investing in their ambitions, dealing with their challenges. And the other, Donald Trump, is about taking us backward.
The other is about fascism. Why can't we just say it?
Yes, we can say that.
All right, Joe.
Sure, she would love to say that.
Yeah, she would love to say it. Listen, 3 weeks ago before the election, are we completely out of the joy phase and 100% all in to the fear-mongering phase?
We are.
Absolutely. I think we have been for some time when it comes to Donald Trump. The problem is if you keep saying those things over and over again, comparing him to Hitler and talking about fascism and Donald Trump, when we saw what his first presidency was like, where those things didn't remotely happen, it's the boy who cried wolf. In this case, it's Kamala Harris and Charlamagne the God who cried wolf. And no one's really listening when people say those things at this point. But I'll say this, Todd. That was the worst interview of this campaign. I mean, by far. I had some hopes for this because Charlamagne the God has shown in the past that he can challenge folks, even if he agrees with them from a political perspective. But we had one question last night saying that Trump would put non-whites in camps, that he would put journalists in jail. We talked about the fascism. And oh, by the way, let's do reparations, or let's at least consider doing reparations for black citizens in this country, which would cost somewhere, this is according to the head of the Black Entertainment Network, would cost somewhere around $14 trillion, which I'm sure we can afford. And Charlamagne did almost no pushback on almost anything that Kamala Harris was saying. But here's the thing, though. It's just like when she went on Colbert or when she went on Stern. These things don't move the needle because most of the folks probably listening to that show were going to vote for Kamala Harris anyway. Again, watch Fox tonight if you want to see a real interview and not whatever that was.
Charlamagne the God.
Let me ask y'all a question, just real quick. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think that you are going to get reparations at all? I've been telling y'all this for the longest. I remember when y'all was running up and y'all was showing me this town hall / community meeting, and y'all said, well, Gavin Newsom over in California is going to give it to us. When? Brandon Johnson over in Chicago said that they're going to spend $500,000 studying it. When? Kamala Harris said she was going to look into it. When? Do y'all think that y'all actually going to get y'all check? They giving it to y'all in these 5 points for weed. Black women is telling y'all that y'all need to take it now. Take it now. They telling y'all that y'all need to take it now. Do y'all honestly believe in your heart, because you're going to be waiting on that till you die? Look, when we voting in this election today, I want y'all to understand what's at stake here. If you're above the age of 32, okay? Because I know that we have a wide range of people that's listening to this. I know that y'all sent this to y'all friends and family. I know that the likes look a little bit down. We got well over 5,000 people watching this right now. The likes is down, but y'all gonna get them up. And I know that y'all subscribing and y'all also tapping into the Patreon because the link is in the description and you already know that. And you know we did Block Club, the real estate stuff, so that you don't have to depend on the president, regardless of who it is, in order for you to get your bag, okay? What's at stake in this election? If you are above the age of 30, 32, 33 years old, if you are right on the cusp, you're going to get a little bit of it, but it ain't going to really matter. What's on the edge of this election and why this election is the most important of our lifetime? Because they say that every election, but this one truly is. It's for this reason and this reason alone. And I know nobody likes to talk about this, but I'm going to tell you why. The reason why this election is the most important election of our lifetime is because for most of us, the most important thing to us is our children. The reason why this is the most important election of our lifetime is because for most of us, the most important thing to us is our children. Me, as a 42-year-old black man, my life is what it is. Hopefully, I get another 40 to 42 years on this earth. God willing, I will be blessed as a result of it. But my life and who I am is set. My financial situation is going to be what it is. The trajectory of it is what it is. Most black people, most white people, most people are largely set in their ways as far as the path that they've created for themselves to determine what their life is going to be like for the next 20, 30, 40, and 50 years. We are who we are. The decisions that you've made from 20 to 50 is going to determine how you're hardened and whether or not your life is going to be phenomenal and fruitful or whether it's going to be dependent on the federal government to make sure that you can feed yourself with the hope of that they forgive your student loans and that you can get Social Security for the rest of your life. But it's not about us. And for too long, the people that came before us until the day that they died only cared about themselves. That's why they had so many children, because they wanted to be taken care of. Their children was their economic retirement plan. They were going to use their children to take care of them. That's why they had so many. That's why they wanted to make sure that so many was born so that maybe 1, 2, 3 of them can be successful and then make sure that I'm straight in my retirement. We thought differently, which is why you can't use the same tropes and the same narrative and the same marketing to reach us as voters, because you can't dangle things in front of us and think that we're just going to take scraps anymore, because the decisions that we make is on the behalf of the people that come after us. Some of y'all was raised by single parents. Some of y'all was raised by single mothers, single fathers. Some of y'all was in divided households. Some of y'all seen abuse in y'all households. Some of y'all experienced life in a way that was negative for you, but you didn't lean into it. You walked away from it. And so you raise your kids in a much better environment. And sometimes we overcorrect. We over-pacify. We make sure that they don't go through the same things that we went through. And we don't know how to balance that. And we so far different. You seen your mother or your father being an alcoholic, and so you never touched beer before in your life. You seen a level of abuse, now you're using gentle parenting. And so we don't have no middle road. But a lot of times, what has become important to us, which is what Kamala Harris and the Democrats don't understand, is because they've never really experienced. She don't have kids. She's never opened up a business. She's never worked in the private sector. She doesn't know what it means to say some of the things that she's saying. And that's why she's tone deaf, because she doesn't resonate with the people. And the people can see through the BS because we've lived it. We've experienced it. We don't give people enough credit to be able to tell the real from the fake. When I see women that continue to follow Umar Johnson or Derek Jackson or any of these people, what I see are people that know better but do it anyway because it temporarily makes them feel good because it's their drug of choice. It's their drug of choice. It makes them feel good even though they know that they're not going to get the results, but it's cool for a moment. It's like going to a concert. You still got to wake up and go to work in the morning though. And so we take the temporary path a lot of times, these females, and they don't look at what the long-term repercussions are going to be. When I look at a candidate and I say, wait a minute, she just said that she say her prayers But how can you, who are you praying to when the very laws that you're creating and the narrative that you're spewing is that you can go and do whatever it is that you want to do, especially when it comes to going in women's bathrooms and gender affirmation and what's supposed to be in our books, and that you dancing next to Billy Porter on the White House lawn. God ain't a God of confusion. You can't sell me that you praying. That's a talking point. That's blasphemy to me. You can't tell me that you understand small business owners if you never even tried to open up a small business. You can't tell me that you understand what it means to be middle class if your entire retirement package was based off of the fact that you are being funded by taxpayers themselves and you got that good healthcare coverage. You never had to go and get a job and then sign up for healthcare coverage and then get laid off because you don't know what it feels like to get COBRA. You don't know what it feels like to actually get your hands dirty. Your hands are soft. You don't know what it feels like to actually have to deal with and worry about whether or not your children are going to be raised in an environment that's not conducive for them and they're going to be subjected to the public school that's in their district because you don't have children. You have no clue what it takes to be successful. And see, the thing that they're not resonating with and they're not leading with that ultimately would really capture the heart of Americans, and this is why you can't get a campaign manager. You need a real one in your circle that's going to tell you the truth, is that the thing that resonates with us is the thing that's best for our kids. We would die for our kids. We would die for our kids. And the way that we see America going today is not going to be best for our children in the future. And that's why they're not going to win the election. That's why they don't resonate with the American people. And that's why they can't reach black men. Because I know men that'll stay in a relationship for decades in order to make sure that their kids is okay. I know men that will fight for their children and will go broke because they love their kids. I know men that don't move for the best opportunities that would be for them simply because it would be too far away from their kids. If y'all really wanted to know what black men thought, y'all would ask us. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. They don't capture the heart of the American people. When you see me talk, you know I'm really talking. This is me talking to you in real time, in real life. This is me talking to you in real time, in real life. Give me no pre-recorded questions. Tell me I can ask one question. I decline your interview. They don't know what black men think because they ain't got no black men next to them. She married to Doug. How you going to talk about black issues and then go home to Doug talking about, yeah, we got him this time? Dougie just had a birthday just this September. I seen it on Twitter. Dougie. Opportunity for black men. You spit in our face. You don't even know nothing about this. You don't know nothing about this life. You don't wake up next to me. You don't wake up next to me. That's like Dr. Umar Johnson talking about what we supposed to do for black women and he ain't married to one and he a single baby daddy. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Black women supporting this woman over here. Man, listen. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. You know. I started to feel the spirit come on me. Hallelujah. 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 Night Jade says she needs to stop talking like this, snipers much. Shout out to my girl Night Jade. Mr. Right Now in the building says, could you explain the whole thing about Trump not wanting black people in his hotel so that I can cuss my family members out? Okay, we'll have a whole conversation about that. Maybe we'll talk about that on After Hours. Because people really don't understand it. And anybody wants to say a talking point, and yo people probably never even stayed in the Trump hotel anyway. Miss Crow T. Shetty, what up, Miss Crow T. Shetty? Shout out to you. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. So, considering, because we're going to revisit this. We're going to have a conversation. Carol, we're going to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Considering Anton had to go ahead and make an appearance. They said, Anton. We need to talk to you. I said, what we talking about? They said, what do you think about? And they never tell me what I got to say or anything. They just said, I want you to come on here and give your authentic thoughts because you know what you're talking about, okay? So I pulled up on my girl, Laura. Shout out to Law. Miss Ingram. Shout out to my girl, Law. I pulled up on my girl Law yesterday and I said, listen, let's have a conversation because I seen this economic agenda. I seen what she put on her website, and I need to help y'all to understand how we see it. I am the representation of what real dudes think, not the dudes that's simping out for women in order to try to win their affection and their vote. We ain't got to do that. We are what we are, and we going to go where we appreciate it. All right?
Joining me now is Jay Jackson, an online entrepreneur who caught my eye over the weekend, and Anton Daniels, a YouTuber and content creator. Anton, let's start with you. You've seen the 5-point plan, which includes the weed, includes the $1 million forgivable loans that is just obviously never going to happen. What is your take on this after Obama essentially insulted black men last week?
Look at where we came from. Look at where we came from. Look here. Before Anton get to cooking, look at where we came from. Now we reviewing ourselves. Let me give myself a round of applause. Let me give myself a round of applause. Look at where we came from. Let's continue.
Well, the first thing that hit my mind, and when I had the conversation with a lot of people that look like me, men specifically, was why didn't they address issues or they valued us before this started to become an issue and Obama decided to put his foot in his mouth in the first place? That's number one. But number two, if you go down and you look at it, it becomes even more disrespectful because it's almost like, oh, we're going to make sure that we legalize marijuana laws because black men are disproportionately affected. Oh, we're going to give you loans that's forgivable. I thought that was grants. But then at the same time, instead of making sure that we're safer, that we have opportunities, that we have lower taxes, that we can get the jobs that we want, they want to dangle more fruit in front of us, low-hanging fruit, in order to sell us on scraps, in order to get us back into the Democratic plantation. It's not going to work. It's just more disrespectful.
We not taking no more low-hanging fruit. Like The Rock. We not taking no more low-hanging fruit. You think that you can disrespect us by giving us what you think that we need instead of asking us what we want? You know what I heard from black guys? Honestly, overwhelming. And then women wanted to take it and say, you know what? Nah, we ain't listening to you on that front. You know what I hear guys say? Honestly, y'all want to know what I hear guys say? Ladies, they want updates to family court laws. They want updates to family court laws. No, you didn't say that. No, you didn't say that you want updates to family court laws. How dare you? How dare you say that you don't want a handout, that you don't want these crumbs off the table, that you don't want a loan that's potentially forgivable, that you don't want to update marijuana law so that they're decriminalized so that we can expunge your record, even though you've never been arrested and you've never smoked trees before in your life. How dare you? You've had to been arrested before, haven't you? You want updates to family court laws? That's a whole system that you would be tearing down. You know how many people getting paid off of that? Judges, the county, lawyers. We got a whole system designed to keep y'all down. It's okay that we advocate for feminism and for equal everything as far as making sure that women can do what they want to do, especially with their bodies. But how dare you ask to update for family court laws at a time that they was created when women didn't have the rights to do what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it, but y'all want to update it. No, we keeping these same family court laws in place. And I see people disrespecting men because they openly communicate to you. It's kind of like when your girl come to you and she say, no, I love you. I want to know everything about you. I want to know your inner thoughts. And then you tell her, and then she be like, yeah. Oh no, I thought you wanted to know. You wanted to know the truth instead of staying in fairy tale land and the blue pill. She'll hate you forever. She'll hate you forever. She'll hate you forever. Don't let her know your inner thoughts. They don't want to know what we think. They just want to tell us what we supposed to have and just accept it. They think we follow them. And Kamala Harris is a reflection of them. You know what they did when they first announced that she was going to be running to president of the United States of America? They mobilized women for Kamala Harris. And they said, we're going to stroll to the polls. We're going to stroll to the polls. And the men better get on board because y'all are part of the Divine Nine. They disrespected y'all. Alphas, Zetas, whatever y'all want to call yourselves. They disrespected y'all. And the women in sororities, they don't even look the same no more. So it's hard to simp out for them. That's the honest to God truth. The women in sororities don't even look the same no more. Some of y'all still got it together. Some of y'all keeping it fit, trim, and slim. But some of y'all is like, what chapter is that? Me fi fat? Me fi fat. So what chapter is that? The donut chapter? That must be the chapter that Homer Simpson is leading up. The me fi fat chapter of the Some of y'all still got it together, but some of y'all not so much. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's just my personal opinion. Let's continue on.
Now, Jay, I talked to a friend of mine today who said it might be at, 15% now, but that's just the beginning. If Trump gets back into office, you're going to see those numbers increase, I believe. You were personally offended by Obama's pitch last week. I saw your, I think your TikTok video. What of this today?
Well, I mean, I agree with what Anton just said. If Obama really wanted
sir. I appreciate you.
Us to support Kamala or Kamala, however you pronounce her name, that should have been his pitch or his presentation to the young black men that he was speaking to. Give us something of substance. Like, I have a higher standard. And so each of her 5 points, okay, those are decent gestures, I guess, but there are some additional things that I believe that need to be done if you want to get us to, vote for you or even pay attention. I mean, the things that we value in terms of our border, in terms of capitalism over socialist communism, those types of things, we value the protection of our country. And I swore to protect, to fight and defend our country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And what I see from the Democratic side is just that. They are enemies within our country, and we have to do everything we can to keep them out and fight them.
But Joy Reid on MSNBC, she's a very prominent African-American female commentator, and she said something different about the plan. Watch.
I commend black men. Brothers, let me tell you what y'all did. You went out there and played hard to get and got a whole long list of policies specific to you. That is how votes are supposed to work.
Oh, let me go get my paper. Hey, black men. Black men. Congratulations. I can't believe it. Look at that. You guys thought that we wasn't listening to y'all. Guess what? Guess what? Are y'all happy now? Look at this. You got a whole list of policies that's just for you. Just for you. Look at this. We're going to decriminalize marijuana in order for you to be able to get a job. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. You'll be more than a DoorDash driver now. Yes, you are. Look at this, black man. You can get you a loan. You want to start a lawnmower business up? Because you are a part of my opportunity economic plan. Look at you, black man. You did it. What do you think? We need you? What is wrong with you? Do y'all not hear what y'all saying? Do y'all not realize that y'all are seriously so far out of touch? I'm going to just tell y'all. I'm going to tell y'all the honest to God truth. They don't like us. They don't like us. There's no way that you can tell me that y'all like us and that y'all got our back. And this is the level of disrespect that you leveling against us. There's no way that they can say that they like us. Genuinely, I don't think that they like us. They don't want us. They want each other. They don't want us. They want each other. See, y'all, look at this. Look at these scraps that we gave y'all. They don't like us. They like each other. I'm trying to tell you, big dog, you keep thinking that they got your back. They don't got your back. They simping out for each other. Somebody sent me this picture. They said, Anton, I'm confused, big dog. I said, what you confused about, bro? He said, listen, or not he. It's a she. She said, listen, and don't worry, I ain't going to say your name. I ain't going to say your name. She said, I don't understand why she would be mad at us for voting for a white man. I don't understand why she would be mad at us for voting for a white man. Why is she sitting there being mad at us for voting for a white man? Literally, they just sent me that picture in a text message. Why would she be mad at us for voting for a white man? She voted for a white man. Why we can't vote for a white man? We love white people. We love all people. Why is she mad at us for voting for a white man? And she a stepmama. I love white people. I love all people. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson.
You're supposed to be asked for your vote. You're supposed to have agendas presented to you. Y'all got that.
I mean, Anton, I'm not sure why she's, it seems like she's changing her vocal inflection there. But is that it? Like, men just were waiting for some goodies that, again, are never going to materialize. If they were going to materialize, you would have seen those things in the last 4 years of Biden and Harris. But no. But is that what men have been waiting for?
What? None of those things, not any one of those 5 points, actually affect me or make me available for them or is going to change my life whatsoever. Not one. And the majority of those 5 points, 3 of them, is something that she was already talking about before she unveiled it, and then she rebranded it as though she were literally giving it to black people in particular. Listen, all they had to do was ask us what we wanted and what we thought, and we would have told her. We're more aligned with Trump's agenda, and it doesn't matter how much low-hanging fruit they try to give us. We're not voting for you, and we can think for ourselves, and we are educated, and we understand exactly what we want. But they were listening to respond instead of listening to understand, and it's unfortunate because they're going to lose our vote.
Yeah, well.
Already lost it. Let Anton cook. Let Anton cook. They already lost it. They already lost our vote. They already lost it. We not listening to them. We not paying attention to what they think about us. What? Wait. You telling me I'm supposed to listen to a woman that tells me that I can't vote for a white man? That is the very definition of discrimination in this country. That is the very definition of discrimination in this country. You telling me that I don't have the freedom to think for myself and I'm supposed to take the scraps. I'm supposed to come and get the scraps off of your table because you want to give me a 5-point plan that's not even applicable to my life. Not one of those 5 points can I use. Not one. Not one. Not one. I'm telling you. I asked Carrie last night. I asked my girl Carrie. I said, Carrie, do black women like us? Do y'all even like us? The great Charleston White once told me, and we were having a conversation. He said, Anton, I don't mind being used. I don't want to be misused. We all use each other. We all leverage each other. We understand what you want. You want a first. You want a historic first. You want us to vote for this woman and elect her to be president of the United States of America, and you want us to simp out for you. The question that we all ask ourselves as men, we always count the cost, right or wrong. I don't care if they're going out there to get them a $40 prostitute or they trying to figure out whether or not they want to propose to this other woman for marriage. Whether you at the lowest end of the totem pole or you at the highest end of the totem pole, we always try to figure out how we can count the cost. And the reason that we do that is because we're not afraid of marriage. We're terrified of divorce. We're trying to figure out how that's going to affect us, our finances, our children, our legacy, and whether or not this is going to be beneficial or this is going to be hurtful. And every man that has made a decision, not logically, but made a decision based off of their emotions, have always come to regret it. So now we're smarter, we're wiser, we're listening to wise counsel. Where our fathers wasn't there in our lives, now you got people like me to guide you and give you insight and information on how you can be successful in your business, in your marriage, in your relationships, in your political affiliations, in your networking, right? And that's why we got the Patreon and the Bag Chasers. And, we do things that actually add value into people's lives. And so now we counting the cost. And the cost has to be worth it. And so when women tell us, follow us to the polls, and I say, at what cost? To emasculate myself? To continue to ignore what we've endured over the last 3.5 years? Or a matter of fact, the last 16 years where 12 of them was ran by Democrats? Am I supposed to ignore the fact that y'all just flew a bunch of migrants in and 21 million of them is here? And so y'all had more benefits for them than you had for us? Am I supposed to lean towards the Democratic plantation yet once again, even though I know that they just want to overtax me and take my money and give it to people that don't even deserve it? Am I supposed to ignore the budget deficit and the fact that y'all said defund the police and y'all stood with people that literally burn down the very businesses that help your neighborhoods and your community thrive? Am I supposed to ignore the fact that we filed for bankruptcy before because we were aligned with people that wasn't in our benefit? Am I supposed to ignore Jennifer Granholm? And she think that just because she out of the limelight that we not paying attention anymore. Jennifer Granholm was the governor that was shepherding Michigan into this bankruptcy in the first place, and she's sitting right next to Biden, the very person that overseen the demise of Michigan at a time where the jobs were leaving out of the state, and they want to try to pin it on Trump in 2016, 17, and 18 when black people were thriving, and we were getting profit sharing checks, and things was booming. Yet you looking at the person that's right next to Biden as one of his top aides, and Jennifer Granholm, is sitting right next to him. And Kamala Harris is sitting there telling you that I was in the room helping to make decisions on the most important things that's happened over the last 3.5 years. But somehow we supposed to give her a raise and a promotion because she want to decriminalize weed? Get out of here, bro. Nope, we not falling for the okie doke no more. No more. Nope. And you're not going to try to make it seem like it's a racist thing when you decided to leave racism behind when you decided who you wanted to get married to. Nope. Nope. And we stand on what we say and we mean what we say. And what y'all don't understand is that inherently all women are the same. And they all fall back into the same principles of what they want. And the first thing that they want, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the first thing they want is a man that's masculine. Because the man that they with, they settled for, but the man that they wanted, he stood on business. And she just didn't have an opportunity to get in front of him. That's a fact. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Am I cooking or am I cooking? Is the likes up? Are y'all subscribed to the channel? Did y'all tap into the Patreon? Did y'all get y'all tickets to come and kick it with me in person? Man, look. Man, look. Sean says, another sermon from Father Anton. Let's get it. Ivan Jr. says, I see many are stuck in the 30s, 40s years ago against Trump. If those things were true, can he change? He's proven not to be racist. Was he racist? Was he a racist when he was giving $100 to random folks and black folks 30 years ago? When I can't wait to, well, let me be quiet. Luke Hazley 20 says, I got your back. Shout out to my girl, Luke Hazley. Silent Sniper says, been a while, just showing some love. It's funny. I remember back in 2020 and 21 when you said you were going to make it to national TV. Now, I ain't even close to the tip of the iceberg. Watch me get this 35 million. See how we upped it from 30 to 35? Peanut the Great says, my seed, my choice. Watch me get this money. You watch. Debt-free dad says, I agree with you. Obama ain't the leader of black men giving out forgivable loans. Didn't y'all do that with the BBB debacle? Yes, they did. And they're going to do it again. They're going to set y'all up and get y'all in jail. Shout out to exotic F7 Savannah Kid Mom. Says, I admire your journalistic ways. Anton, you put the D in Detroit. Stay up and stay focused. I want y'all to come see me. I love my snow bunnies. I love my snow bunnies. I want y'all to come see me. JG says, first the weed, then she'll cap the Hennessy prices. What's next? A pair of Jordans and some white tees? Duran Lee says, supersized chapter. Me Fafat. Chase Barnes says, to quote my guy in the chat, Ryan James, stepmamala, that's funny and true. We don't even like that. Dijon Chin says, we're not voting for her. We're in for America. You no longer go finesse us. Success and Sobriety says they want to vote for a racist woman who is not black anyway. Al, shout out to my girl Al in the building, a thumbs up. And then I also want to holler at my dog, American Virus is Freedom says, Obama and Kamala prove one thing. You don't need a black woman to have a black baby. Hell, you don't even need to be raised in a black household. That's a fact. BKMS, shout out to BKMS, says, I love your show. Biggest fans. Shout out to my South Africans. Shout out to my South Africans. I love my South Africans. I know that Kamala was trying to come over there and change y'all ways and tell y'all needed to embrace the alphabet community ways. But guess what? You stood tall, you standing tall, and you get into it. Let's switch over for a second, all right? Let's get away from politics. Let's start talking about the news that's happening across America. New York City, NYC, is starting to crack down on brothels. Let's spend 10 minutes on this and let's get to it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel.
Out of Queens and the push to clean up Roosevelt Avenue.
Fox 5 was there as police and other officials gathered to do a sweep of the street that is plagued with problems.
Baby girl is stacked, ain't she? I'm sorry, I'm just a man. She be getting to it. She definitely get to it.
Fox 5's Richard Jacobus is live for us. Richard, what's going on?
Well, Natasha, Steve, our sources call this Operation Roosevelt. It's a 60-day initiative to clean up the stretch of Roosevelt Avenue from Elmhurst to Jackson Heights, Queens. It all begins today, from cracking down on these illegal vendors to busting brothels to cleaning up garbage on the streets and seizing illegal scooters. All of it to clean up and bring back this neighborhood's quality of life. Just after dawn, hundreds of NYPD officers, state police officers, members of the FDNY, sanitation workers, and even the Queens DA gathered at 83rd and Roosevelt to begin the process of cleaning up what people here have been complaining about for years.
Prostitution, people selling illegal drugs and everything.
We don't need that over here.
Cops spent the day tracking down alleged sex workers, dismantling vendors selling illegal clothing, and taking away illegal scooters from street corners.
Folks that are vending on the corners, you'll see women that are scantily clad on the street, offering services of massages.
Interim Police Commissioner Tom Donlin spent last night with NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Operations Kaz Daughtry touring Roosevelt Avenue ahead of the crackdown.
We're going to provide more resources to you here.
As for the people,
let me ask y'all a question to the people in NYC and the people in the chat. You knew that was coming. You know I love the women. Canton says, please don't take away the brothels. They ain't going nowhere, I promise you. They not going nowhere, I promise you. And again, I want to ask y'all a question because I love my chat. The chat is the co-host of this show. The question that I have for y'all is, as he toured it and they announced, hey guys, we're going to come and clean this up for the next 60 days. We're going to be on your head. What happens 60 days later? What happens 60 days later? Have y'all ever seen that movie 128 Days Later? What happens 60 days later? What happened 120 days later? What happens next time, same time this year? Because most people are just going to pack up and leave. Okay, hey, listen. We see the police. He making an announcement. They making an announcement on the news. We paying attention. Anton from AntonDaniels.com. He's saying it. All right, y'all, let's not get arrested. For the next 60 days, we're going to have to get out the way. We can't sell on this street. We're going to go 3 streets over, and we're going to start selling on that street until we come back. It reminds me of when they said that they was going to clean up homelessness and stuff like that and remove all of these homelessness tent camps on the West Coast. And then they did it, and 1 week later, everybody was back, and it was like, so y'all cleaned up the area for us. Thank you. And they was back to doing the same thing that they was doing before. They actually didn't make a dent in the problem. And so my question to y'all is this just for optics? Is this for visibility? Or is this a real initiative that y'all think is going to clean up the city streets of New York and remove it of illegal crime, people selling stuff on the streets without a permit, brothels, all of that stuff?
People who live here or own a business here, they applaud this initiative, especially because of their kids.
I noticed several businesses starting to go down, but then they crack it down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then across the street we have a school. We have a school across the street. Kids from, I think, 5 years old, they attend to school, and I guess it's not a good it's not a good thing.
I was born and raised here just down the block, so it has been for several years already. So I feel like it's a good thing that they're actually doing that because of the kids, you know, the youth is growing, them passing by. I don't want personally my kid to be seeing all of those things.
And those are the people who are concerned the most, those with children, those who have lived here their entire lives. They've seen this neighborhood go downhill. Now, we've reached out to the NYPD as well as the Queens District Attorney and the Department of Sanitation for official comment on this, on actually what this is called. Our sources say it's Operation Roosevelt, what they're doing here, and if they're indeed going to be here for the next 60 days. But so far, we haven't heard back. Our sources.
All right, so let's pivot for a second. I want to get this from another view. Make sure that we can see this and understand it.
The mayor of New York made a promise after his federal indictments. Eric Adams said he would, despite his legal problems, continue working for New Yorkers. Well, tonight, he seemed to be doing just that. The mayor, tonight in Queens.
Y'all think that this is only for the election? Y'all think that this is to help get certain people elected?
Launching a quality of life operation to fight sex trafficking, brothels, and unlicensed vendors, the stuff many New Yorkers worry about. So how did it go tonight? Here's Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger.
The world's oldest profession has, for generations, all but owned this stretch of Roosevelt Avenue in Corona, where under the 7 trained illegal brothels feed a culture of lawlessness.
If I'm walking with my daughter, it's really dangerous because I have to try to explain to her what's going on.
For Gloria Contreras, it's no place to live.
Take a walk by yourself and no camera, and you'll see that you will be solicited easily in a block 10, 15 times by different people.
But tonight, at long last, a crackdown.
We're not here for one day and go away. We're here for the problem to go away.
The mayor announcing a citywide task force, everything from police to fire to the buildings department, all working in tandem on Operation Restore Roosevelt. Eyewitness News obtained this video as cops swooped in today, busting brothels along with illegal vendors and the ever-present scooters, all to break the industry that has strangled people's quality of life.
If you have an illegal massage parlor or brothel on Roosevelt Avenue, we will shut you down.
NYPD Deputy Commissioner Kaz Daughtry formulated the plan, which includes nearly 200 officers flooding the neighborhood for 3 months, starting today.
Before, we would just come here, we do an operation, and we move on to another part of the city. This, we're dedicated, we planted the city's flag in the ground on Roosevelt Avenue, and we're not leaving for 90 days. After 90 days, you're gonna say, what's gonna happen? Well, we're gonna do an analysis, we'll reassess. If we gotta put more resources on it into this task force, we
Not the beds. Oh, no. Is that where y'all be getting y'all massages? Man, y'all feel comfortable getting massages where they got the kids mat on the floor? The M, the S, and all of that, and then you got the Arabian Prince beads on that. Oh, heck no. Heck no. Y'all, dog, if you went in there with a black light, nah, dog, y'all not in there, y'all not crashing out in the brothels, are y'all? Is that where y'all get y'all rubbing tugs from? Y'all feel comfortable with that? Heck no. No, dog. You got the they got the kids mat at the bottom. They got the stool right there. Y'all just be walking in there like it's cool. How much for $40? $100? Dog, I don't even know if that's as much as my DoorDash. My DoorDash be more than that sometimes, most of the time. That's crazy. That is insane. But I think New York got huge problems. They not only got problems with these brothels and these migrants that then is selling front butt. They got problems with sanitation. They got problems with budgets. They got problems with corruption. And so while I applaud the effort, I wonder if them chicks even wash their hands. While I applaud the effort, I will also say that I would like to see this happen outside of an election cycle, because me, myself, as well as the people in the chat, y'all got a cream for that? Me, myself, as well as the people in the chat, we think that this is just for optics. This is because y'all got a new police commissioner. We think that Eric Adams is trying to endear himself to the American people in order to not be convicted in the court of public opinion, considering that he's facing Fed charges. And we also think that it's a national election that's happening right now. So we need y'all to do more at times that y'all don't have the camera on y'all, and y'all don't have to call the camera crew out in order to crack down and clean up y'all streets, all right? Bring back stop and frisk. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get into the final portion of the show. Deshaun Rose says, yo, can we get these likes up for AD in the show? They know what's up. They know better. They know better. Sean S. says, I live in NYC. I know a few people that are going to be upset that the cheap box access is going down. They just moved a couple streets over. You can just move over. It ain't no big deal. Silent Sniper says, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Kamala support decriminalization of pros? I have no idea what pros are. What are pros? What are pros? Let me read this Cash App also. Cartier Oliver says, the line leader in Michigan and me fi fat is front butt. Shout out to my people on Cash App too. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. So I want to get into the finances and the money a little bit. Stellantis. So I've been talking about Stellantis, and I've been preparing y'all for Stellantis for a long time. Ever since I seen that Sean Fain was on a mission to try to get in good with the people in the Democratic Party because he was anticipating the possibility of becoming a cabinet member and leveling up at a time where he was willing to throw Detroit automakers under the bus. And I don't think that that's the entire reason why Chrysler is suffering. But ever since they started striking and I seen Biden throw UAW members under the bus, and now I'm seeing Stellantis practically crash out, I had to go and buy my own Hellcat, not for me to drive, but because I think that it's going to be a collector's item. I seen somebody tell me yesterday on my video that released yesterday, they said, Anton, I can't believe that you're investing in depreciating assets. I said, it's a toy. It's a toy that I like. What are you talking about? I love having toys that appreciate over time or hold its value over time, especially if you take care of it. But I went and bought one because it's the last call. And so they made a number of mishaps. They gave in to the UAW. Now they're laying off employees. They're making people come back that's not laid off, that is working remote. And the CEO is not even going to be leaving until 2026. But Carlos Tavares is basically crashing the entire auto industry. And so I am concerned about this, and this is meaningful, not just because this is something I've been covering for a long time, but also because I told you so. And I got brothers and sisters, not necessarily family members, but people that I love out here in Detroit that are being affected by what is going on with Stellantis. So let's talk about it, and then I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are. And so first, we're going to go over this first video that basically breaks down Stellantis' position in reversing remote work policy. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Welcome back to Squawk Box. Time now for our executive edge. Automaker Stellantis bringing workers back to the office. This is now a story we keep hearing. And reversing their work from home policy. It comes after its profit warning prompting a shakeup of top management. The makers of brands including Jeep and Chrysler now want staff in the office an average of 3 days per week. It previously, Joe throws his hands up.
And it tripped out when you look at this right here and you look at all of those robots. Look at all of the robots come by. in order to do the welds and stuff. Look at this. Watch this.
3 days per week. It previously, Joe throws his hands up.
All of those used to be workers. All of those used to be jobs. The people at the ports is trying to advocate against automation too.
3 days,
Bastards. Oh my God.
allowing employees to spend 70% of their work time remotely. That was the previous plan.
Not going to take it.
CEO Carlos Tavares praising remote work following COVID lockdowns and drastically reduced office space and sold real estate assets to cut costs.
So that's interesting. They got rid of the office,
Right,
so there's not a place to come back to.
Less places to come back to. What are you going to do when you come back? This is a real thing.
I know, but it was just funny the way you said that. It's like, oh my God. And then now demanding you back 3 days a week.
It probably comes from people who have moved far away, figuring
Right.
that they can do this for forever.
And a lot of people did move far away. A lot of people during the COVID lockdown said, oh, I'm never going back to work, or we're never going to go. And all of this stuff, Amazon is bringing people back in. All of these companies, most companies are bringing people back into the job and saying that you got to work in-house. And so either you got to move back or you got to get laid off or you got to quit. Check this out.
CEO Carlos Tavares says nothing is off the table as the company tries to turn around its sagging profits. He told reporters at the Paris Auto Show that he's even considering plant closures.
He also said eliminating brands would be an option to help
Chrysler's
the
out
company's
of
bottom
there.
line.
They're
The
gonna
automaker's
eliminate
profits
Chrysler.
are down almost 50% compared to this time last year. Here to discuss is Wayne State University Professor Emeritus Merrick Masters. Merrick, thanks for being here today.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so this seems to be pretty dire straits for Stellantis. Can you describe the situation, the overall situation that the company finds itself in right now?
The overall situation is declining sales, which have led to declining profits. They forecast that their operating margins will be about half of what they were last year for the forecast for the rest of the year. And as a result of that, they're having to look hard at their brands and their footprint, their employment footprint in the United States and globally.
Okay, and if they're looking at the possibility of even closing some plants, I'd imagine that doesn't fare well with some of those workers who are already frustrated. How does this help their confidence in the company?
Well, I think there's a lot of apprehension on the part of workers due to the difficulty in the transition to EVs and the uncertainty about the market, generally speaking.
And Trump is right. Trump was absolutely right. They're killing the whole industry.
Eclipsing many other companies, the nation's companies in the EV market, and that poses threats in the future. So when I look at the overall situation for the industry as a whole in the U.S., it's not very bright. It's far removed from what it was just a few months ago during the record contracts over record profits in 2023. What you see now is a rude awakening to some extent. Stellantis has already had to lay off employees. It's now embroiled in a major battle with the UAW over its delay in plant investments that were planned as part of the 2023 Accord.
Let me show you what's really happening on the ground, because we can all talk about and we can all show and speculate and say, well, listen, this is what's happening. This is what he said at the Paris Auto Show. They're requiring people to come back in, but let me show you what's really happening on the ground as they lay people off in the plants at like Warren and the Jefferson plant and stuff like that. Things that we used to celebrate during the Trump administration. This is now what's happening under Kamala Harris's administration, Sean Spain negotiation, Carlos Tavares's fumbling, and why workers, you, the middle class, are usually the ones that catch the back end and the tail end of the stick. Let me show you what you can look forward to.
Just 20 days away, both candidates are spending plenty of time in swing state Michigan. As we told you earlier, Charlamagne the God is currently hosting Vice President Kamala Harris live in Detroit in a town hall conversation for his show, The Breakfast Club. Well, former President Donald Trump is set to speak to auto industry insiders in Detroit this Friday during his own rally.
And guess who's going to be there? Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it.
Now, auto workers are a crucial voting bloc, but there are far fewer of them than there used to be. In fact, America has lost 260,000 in the past 25 years. That's more people than the populations of Scottsdale, Arizona, Irving, Texas, or Boise, Idaho. gone. And the cuts are still coming after a bruising strike last year by the United Auto Workers Union, which aimed to give those on the assembly line more pay, more stability, and more security. Stellantis, the parent company of Jeep, Chrysler, and Ram, just laid off up to 2,500 more workers. Now, have you heard the presidential candidates talking about this? Have you heard anyone talking about this?
When you see me, make sure you say what up, though. The rise is going to be crazy. I wish I could talk about it. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. We'll talk about it. We'll review it.
Well, we are. Special correspondent Charlie LaDuff takes us to Warren, Michigan, and kicks off our News Nation series, Going Broke, the Forgotten Americans.
I own my own home, a couple cars, you know what I mean? I got 4 kids, got a wife, beautiful wife at home. So to see it just all of a sudden disappear, wouldn't you be a little mad about that?
A Detroit auto worker is dying on the vine.
And I've been here 4 years working hard. You want to give these jobs to other people so you can pay them less than what you're paying me. You shouldn't have never did that.
You can hear her in the streets. You can hear him in the bars. This is a UAW joint in Warren, Michigan. Stellantis, the European company that now owns Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler, is laying off 2,500 people at the factory right across the street. Whenever I go to a wake, I like to buy the family a drink.
Everybody that wants one. So what's this mean for people and their bills and everything?
It sucks. What you mean? What it mean? If people got to change their whole dynamic now. This is all up, and they've been there 30 years already. Come on, bro. Is that right? No, that ain't right.
I mean, you got all the bills outstanding, and all of a sudden it's yanked out.
Nah, it's yanked out.
Michigan is car country, so when an auto plant lays people off, the unemployment train starts to roll downhill. ABC Murray Sprockets has been here on 8 Mile Road more than 50 years.
By the magic of TV. Charlie, it's Bob.
They make gears for the assembly line. If the assembly line isn't churning out cars, then ABC might soon become see you later.
The way the country's going now, are you worried that you won't be the 4th generation?
No, I plan on being the 4th generation. I just hope it doesn't die with me.
Well, where's the hell is work going in this country?
It's going to shame. China.
Do you feel that the corporations and the political professionals have forgotten about you, this neighborhood, this state? Have they left you hanging?
I think our governor's left us hanging for sure. I don't think she cares about business in this state right here. She needs to.
Mark Kerneal has been a UAW member for 30 years. He says he'll be okay, but he says the political class has lost the working class.
Every political season, they're here. Kamala's here, Donald's here, and 2 years ago, nobody was here.
Yeah, there was no political pundits here at all, not even in your local cities, city council, either from Detroit or for Warren. You didn't see them until they needed us.
American taxpayers have given Stellantis billions of dollars in cash and incentives, and the Ram truck sells. It was the 2-time truck of the year. In fact, North America is Stellantis' most profitable division on the planet. So why, after a bruising strike last year, where temporary workers finally got a raise and became full-time workers, is the company now kicking them to the curb? I reached out to the CEO, Carlos Tavares, at his Portuguese farm. I wanted to ask Carlos why he gave himself a 50% raise while eating escargot as he's planning to let our cars go. I got nothing. So I went inside the Ram plant here in Warren to find the manager. No one to be found except this dude.
I had reached out to the company for some comment on the layoffs, and I didn't hear back, so I'm here now.
Okay, this is private property you came from on here.
Shift change, working men and women. It isn't easy committing your life to a machine only to have it ripped away. Just listen.
So what's going to happen?
We all disappear.
Are you angry?
Everybody angry. Everybody's angry.
Are you scared?
I'm scared to death. Just being punched after punch, it's just so hard, you know? It's like you just keep pushing us back.
Well, there's a new saying in Warren, Michigan. Next car I'm going to get me is a Ford. That's right, a car I...
It's bad. It's very, very bad. And most people are suffering. And so while they're sitting there pandering, and you got these Democrats that's running around trying to make sure that they cozy up to whoever it is that they think is going to be president to the United States of America again, people in real life, as I predicted, as I told you to buckle up when y'all was saying, oh, no, I remember. You know what? I'm about to pull up some of them other live streams. I had people from Chrysler at this very plant call into this show and tell me that I was wrong. They were going to get historical contracts. They were going to win, and they was going to laugh in my face. And I said, all right, you're going to laugh now, you're going to cry later. I told people, prepare to get laid off, prepare to lose your jobs. Best case scenario, you don't lose your job, you get another whatever, you get another job, another opportunity, you develop a new skill to where you don't suffer. Take advantage of the employee tuition reimbursement, get another skill. Y'all said, nope, we chilling, we good, we ballin'. You got your little bonus check. You said that you was going to go get you a new Wagoneer. Shout out to my dog, Slimmy. You remember that, Chris James? I said it. And it's not just the people that work at these plants. It's the people that actually work at the suppliers that support these plants that's also going to be laid off. It's an entire industry that's built around the auto industry. It's the restaurants. It's the suppliers. It's the people that work at the plants. It's the managers, the middle managers. It's families that then depend on it. I said it. I warned it. Chris James said, but we didn't expect it to happen so soon. I said it. I said that it was going to happen. I said, y'all got to go and prepare yourself because this is a temporary stop for a permanent solution. And if y'all think that they're going to be paying y'all for the next 30 years at this rate, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You are going to suffer. You better develop a new skill. You better go and figure it out. But they are going to lay you off and you are not the prize. Already, when they was in the negotiation room with you, they was figuring out how they can move plants over to somewhere else, and they was already building plants in Mexico. They was building plants in Canada. They was moving product. They had no plans to keep you. You had 1 year at best to figure it out. 1 year. Get your resume together, get your LinkedIn together, clean up your social media, start to develop a new skill, do something. Save, cut your costs, all of that. You had 1 year to get yourself together, and then it was going to start to be, and depending on who win the election, it's going to be even worse coming forward.
I can afford.
Right.
To your future. To your future.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right, News Nation's special correspondent Charlie LaDuff joins us now. Charlie, where did those jobs go, those 2,500 jobs? Did they go overseas? Did they go to automation here? Where did they go?
That's the funny thing, Elizabeth. Nobody seems to know. The company's not clear what they're doing. They're reconfiguring. Maybe something's going to Canada. Maybe there's a plant in Brazil. But the real thing is the trucks are sitting around. People are getting laid off, temporarily laid off. And the economic pain is real.
And what has this done to, you said the unemployment rate, the train goes downhill, but in all seriousness, what has that done to the local economy? There are so many other jobs that are dependent on these factory jobs.
100%. These are good jobs. This is the cream of the crop when you're talking about blue-collar America. And with benefits and overtime, you're talking $100,000 a job, 2,500 jobs. There might be another 3,000 jobs going. It seems like 5-6 dozen a week are leaving, and that means hamburger shacks, tennis shoe shops, my mom's flower shop, all of us. We're all in it together, and it's not really being recognized.
Yeah, well,
that is what's happening on the financial front. Again, I would encourage you guys to make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. That way you don't have to be interdependent on the federal government or whoever becomes president to support you, because a reckoning is coming and an awakening is already here. So I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We gave y'all a great show today. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We give y'all a great show every day. Every single day we hit y'all with the ooh-wop shebang. More Than Mellow says, I did it, got the job, $27 an hour, hybrid tech support. Congratulations. I appreciate you. The New Movement Eek says, not Mamala. J Dubs says, hearing Trump talk about tariffs at the Economic Forum was needed, and I realized he knows more than I initially thought. I apologize for not giving him credit and voting Democrat all of this time. We here now, though. We here now. Welcome, big dog. And I'm going to review that tomorrow. American Virus is Freedom says, look up how much the unions give to the Dem priority. It's unreal. Unions are just political factions at this point. Chad for Morris says, LOL, AD, you got me wanting to buy the last call now. Oh, be careful, be careful. Gray Way in the building says, I got a new girlfriend who watches the show with me when she stays over. Yesterday we were talking politics, and I said, I wish AD could interview Harris. She goes, he'd destroy her. She only saw a few shows. Shout out to girlfriend in the building that's staying over. We love you. If you a friend of the Gray Way, you a friend of Anton from AntonDaniels.com. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ray. Ray says, I recommended the CT5 V Blackwing on your last video. Yeah, I seen that, Ray. I seen it. I might get that too. Well, we limited? Y'all want to see a Blackwing as a part of the fleet? I need to go and build a garage so that I can make sure I can house all of this stuff. Got this one there, this one there, this one there. We don't know what's going on. Anyways, make sure y'all share this with your friends and family. Again, we don't want to be rich by ourselves. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. It is a phenomenal product. Make sure you get it for your family and your friends. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm on your way out the door, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Share this with your family and friends, and then get your tickets to kick it with me in person. Discount code Anton is in the description. I love you. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all in the morning. Peace.